2 Samuel chapter 2. After these events, David inquired of the Lord, asking, "Shall I go up to any of the cities of Judah?" The Lord replied, "Go up." David asked, "Where should I go?" The Lord answered, "Go to Hebron." So David went there, and his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, from Carmel. David also brought his men and their families, and they settled in Hebron. Then the men of Judah came and anointed David as king over the house of Judah. They informed David that the men of Jabesh Gilead were the ones who had buried Saul. David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead and said to them, "May you be blessed by the Lord for your kindness in burying Saul your lord. May the Lord now show you kindness and truth. I will also repay you for this kindness, because you have done this. Be strong and valiant." David continued, "For your master Saul is dead, and the house of Judah has anointed me as king over them." Meanwhile, Abner, Saul's son Ishbosheth as commander, took Ishbosheth to Mahanaim and made him king over Gilead, Asher, Jezreel, Ephraim, Benjamin, and all Israel. Ishbosheth was 40 years old when he became king, and he ruled for 2 years. However, the house of Judah followed David. David reigned in Hebron over the house of Judah for 7 years and 6 months. Abner, along with the servants of Ishbosheth, set out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. Joab, David's commander, and David's servants also went out and met them by the pool of Gibeon. They sat on one side of the pool, while the others sat on the opposite side. Abner suggested to Joab, "Let's have the young men get up and compete before us." Joab agreed, saying, "Let them rise." So 12 men from Benjamin, who were with Ishbosheth, faced off against 12 of David's servants. Each man seized his opponent by the head and thrust his sword into the other's side, and they fell together. So that place, known as Helkath Hazurim, in Gibeon, witnessed a fierce battle. The battle that day was intense, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated by David's servants. Zeruiah's 3 sons were there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. Asahel was as swift as a wild gazelle. Asahel pursued Abner, not turning to the right or to the left as he followed him. Abner looked behind and asked, "Is that you, Asahel?" He answered, "Yes, it is." Abner warned him, "Turn aside to your right or left, seize one of the young soldiers, and take his equipment for yourself." But Asahel refused to turn away. So Abner struck Asahel in the stomach with the rear end of his spear, and the spear came out through his back. Asahel fell to the ground and died on the spot. Everyone who came to the place where Asahel had fallen and died stood still. Joab and Abishai pursued Abner, and as the sun was setting, they came to the hill of Ammah, near Giah on the way to the wilderness of Gibeon. The Benjaminites rallied behind Abner, forming a single troop and taking their stand on the top of a hill. Abner called to Joab, "Must the sword devour forever? Don't you realize this will only end in bitterness? How long will it be before you order your men to stop pursuing their fellow Israelites?" Joab replied, "As surely as God lives, if you had not spoken, the men would have pursued their brothers until morning." So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the troops came to a halt and no longer pursued Israel or engaged in battle. Abner and his men then marched all night through the Arba, crossed the Jordan, and went through the whole region of Bithron. They arrived at Mahanaim. Joab returned from pursuing Abner and assembled all the troops. 19 of David's servants were missing, along with Asahel. However, David's soldiers had killed 360 Benjaminites who were with Abner. They took Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb in Bethlehem. Joab and his men then marched all night and reached Hebron at dawn.